Michael, you can't make noise when I'm about to start the podcast, Michael.
Uh-oh, my bad.
He's making all sorts of noise, and I had my Michael. Hello.
Hi, the typing, it is real.
Yeah. No, how's it going, my man?
It's going.
It's
Today was
Monday.
I had a lunch saga today.
Oh, okay. Okay. I assume because it
Well,
was work
let's
related.
loop in
Hold on,
let's loop in
JJ.
JJ.
JJ,
Oh,
did you
hello.
have a
Yes.
Monday? Hello.
Yeah, it is a Monday. You know.
Yeah. I think we all had a little bit of a. We're almost ready for school here, and this was an extra Monday because it's like the last Monday, right? You know, of free time before it becomes real Mondays again. Michael, you
I
had a
found-
Monday.
I got a comment about Andrew's real Mondays thing. I have found in the years since being out of school, even being married to a teacher, like I like forget how school is and like when things happen in schools, and it's just like blowing my mind that there are people that are like, oh yeah, like summer, that's a thing. Whoa,
Yeah, because
Keanu
it's a
Reeves.
year,
it's just the hot time when everything is more crowded.
yeah, it's a year that doesn't follow the calendar year, right? And so everything happens in school time rather than in calendar time.
I am more and more convinced that year-round school would be beneficial.
Well, let me tell you about the school that my wife works at.
You said you had a Monday, my man.
Oh yeah. So my morning was just a normal frantic Monday morning. And so 11:30 rolls around and I've gotten hungry and I'm like, I'm just gonna run out and grab myself something quick for lunch. So my first thought was, you know what sounds good? Flame broiler. Somewhat healthy, but always tasty. So
Oh, rice
they
bowl.
unfortunately they closed the flame broiler that's right across the street from my office,
Boo.
but
Boo.
there's one just down the street. So,
Maybe that's
5-10 minute drive.
Okay.
Yeah, so 5-10 minute drive, pull it up to make sure I'm going to the right place on Google. Head down there, pull up to where it's supposed to be, and it's not there.
Uh-oh.
The place is closed, and there is a wrap on the window that says such and such new restaurant coming soon. So I'm like, well, that's a problem. Guess that's not happening. So what do I do next? Well, across the parking lot, there is a Chipotle. I'm like, okay, I'll do Chipotle. I can still get a rice bowl. So walk into Chipotle. There were a few people in line in front of me, waiting for them to help each customer. And right before we get to the front, the woman in front of me turns around and says, so they haven't said anything since I walked in, but apparently their system is down and they're cash only right now. I'm like, great. I don't have any cash on me.
Yeah, who carries cash?
Yeah, especially right now when everywhere has gone to no cash
Yeah.
because of COVID. So yeah, I haven't carried cash on me in forever. So I get to the front and I ask the woman to make sure that they're still cash only, and she says yes. So I turn and walk back out. I announced to the long line of people behind me that they were cash only since they hadn't said anything in 5 minutes.
God.
So across from the parking lot in a different direction from the Chipotle is a Cava, which, if you haven't been, is the exact same concept, just Mediterranean instead of Mexican.
Rice bowls.
Yes.
Mhm.
Also,
Right.
well, there's our rice, but also you could do grains or like mixed greens or spinach. Also really good. So I head over there and I get out of the car, and the line is wrapped through the building, out the front door, and down the sidewalk.
What?
I'm like,
What?
ain't nobody got time for that.
No. You're already past your lunchtime at this point.
This is 3 different places. The end of my lunchtime is fast approaching. So I finally basically just gave up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to Target and I'm gonna get one of those like kit salads for one, and that will be my lunch today.
Yeah. Microwave.
Fortunately, Target did not fail me, because at that point I think I would have just rage quit from lunch.
just go home. I'm not coming back today.
Yeah. Take a do-over on this day.
what are you gonna do, man? Just
Yeah.
it's time to pack it up.
I had a computer issue that gave me that kind of same feeling. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. I started to think if like my processor or something was having a meltdown or whatever, but like for a full day this weekend, anytime I tried to make render files or compress things, the renders would take like when I was doing the podcast render, it took twice as long as normal, and the file size was 4 times larger than it should have been. And it was like do that multiple times until all of a sudden it wouldn't anymore. And it would hang, like multiple programs were just hanging and crashing, and like restart had not fixed it. I don't know. It was weird. And then all of a sudden the next day everything was fine again.
Just a cursed day there.
Yeah. So I eventually just gave up. I just like turned the computer off, you know. Well, anyway, JJ,
Sometimes
hopefully
that's the
you
only
escaped.
solution, man. Just giving up.
You escaped the curses that of lunchtime and tech problems.
Yeah, I mean, like I had some work stuff happen today, but it's just work stuff. It's not like
Yeah.
I wouldn't
You can't
call my
complain,
Monday
right?
cursed. Just
Well,
work.
since we're on the complain train,
Keep it coming.
I can first world problems this event. Apex Legends, JJ.
Oh yeah, I reinstalled that after you told me to do that,
Uh-huh.
and I spent about an hour opening like 70 packs and collecting random skins and stuff that I had acquired at the
Aha.
time that I wasn't playing.
Hey, this applies to you.
Oh,
So you've done that on the computer now, I assume.
uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
The only place where I've ever played Apex Legends before.
But you have a PlayStation and could play that Apex Legends on your PlayStation.
Yeah, but why?
The bigger question is, but why? Because all that stuff you just opened and claimed on the computer is not cross-saved to the PlayStation. Despite the fact that you still have to log in with an account from EA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a first world Sony problem right there.
Yeah, it's some kind of problem. EA is
By which I
working on-
mean, no, it's Sony blocking them from doing that.
Well,
for sure.
EA said that they're working on the cross thing, and it'll probably be out in 2022 in terms of marrying your accounts and doing cross progress and all that sort of stuff. But I ran into an issue where I was trying to play with some people that wanted to play on PlayStation. And I was like, okay, well, I'll install it on my PlayStation. And so I logged in there first, in the first time in months. And then we wanted to play on the computer later when they weren't around, just to like, I prefer to play on the computer if I had the choice. So I went back there. None of the stuff I had claimed from years of Twitch, you just click the button on Twitch and get the skin and whatever. If you ever come back to Apex, you have it, right?
Yep, that's exactly what I'd been doing.
Not so, because I had logged in on the PlayStation and claimed them all there. But all the points and stuff that I had earned for unlocking heroes are all on the computer.
Oh, no.
So now my account is split between the skins I've gotten through Twitch on the PlayStation and the progress I had made before we, fell off the game on the computer. So at some point, I assume I had to call EA to figure out what was going on because I couldn't figure it out. I was like, where are these skins? And she's like, well, I see the account. I was like, yeah, that's the account. Well, I see the account is on a PlayStation and on a computer. I'm like, yeah. She's like, which one did you log into? I'm like, well, this one. Okay, well, everything's there. Like, oh, I didn't know.
This is easily solved by telling those people on the PlayStation, I will play on the PC.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's never a good sign when it's
It's
gotten
a
to the
first-
point that you have to contact EA.
Yeah, you had to call EA. That's already more work than I'm willing to do for a free-to-play game.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. Supposedly they're working on it. I'm not going to make a claim that they're going to make good on that supposed cross progress problem.
I would go ahead and not hold my breath on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of EA.
I spent some time though. Like I said, I opened like 70 packs or however many of those.
Oh, yeah,
things.
yeah.
And I spent some of those like random points or whatever that you get, and I unlocked the newest hero because people say that guy is good. So
He's gonna get nerfed, but he looks like Lil Nas X.
he does kind of, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. this guy. And then I didn't actually play any Apex. I just installed it
Yeah.
and looked at all the cosmetics, and then closed the game.
So his ultimate is people have compared to wall hacks basically.
There's several characters that have like weird wall hacky kind of abilities, though, right?
But
So-
his is literally just like pinging the entire map in front of you and being like, well, there's 3 guys there and 2 guys there. It's like,
I'm sure since he's the newest, he's probably a little overpowered. Just like Overwatch, they always release the hero way over.
he's really good, and then
nerf
you're
him
like, we
back.
gotta dial this back.
Hmm.
Yeah. So speaking of EA and Origin and all that, JJ,
Yes. Hello.
Fallen Order is an EA game.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe the best EA game in the last 10 years.
See, that would require me to have played other EA games. I've played, like, I can list all the EA games I've played in the last 5 or 10 years. Apex Legends
Sure.
and Fallen Order. So
Mass Effect 3 would probably be 10 years, right?
yeah, okay. I think that's Mass Effect 3. The Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 trilogy, although I think Mass Effect 1 and 2 are probably more than 10 years old at this point.
Mass Effect 1 for sure.
Mass Effect
Yeah.
1 for sure is. That was an
I think Mass Effect 3 is
something.
2012-ish. 20.
Okay, so that fits in, but barely, right?
Yeah. But Fallen Order is
And-
better than Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, I liked the characters in Mass Effect 3 a lot more, though, I'll say. I mean, I have beaten the game, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I had a very fun time. Great fun running around, chopping up people with lightsabers and doing stuff. I did not find it terribly difficult on
No.
the second hardest setting. There were some bosses that got pretty difficult. The last boss was not easy.
Oh, the sister.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
fight was
she
really
has-
hard.
She has several moves that are very frustrating.
Yeah, and the pattern is quick. It is a very
Yeah.
quick pattern.
Yeah, the time that I won, I was spamming certain attacks that happened to connect for full damage multiple times, and I think I skipped a phase in the middle, and we went right to the last phase.
Oh, her last
But
phase is easier than her first 2.
I think I had the most trouble with the middle one when the
Yeah.
probe droid shows up.
Oh yeah, that one was not easy.
But yeah, it was tough. It was easily the most tough fight for me of that game. But like, I died like half a dozen times or something. It was definitely like I had to work at it.
Yeah.
But overall, like really fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't get all the skills. I think there were 3 that I didn't have at the end, and
See?
all of them costed 2.
You get so
Point.
close, and you're like,
I got all the like overpowered ones though. I don't
Sure.
think I missed the ones I didn't have. It was like longer range on the throw, which I never used,
right.
and better like push or pull all the enemies. I forget which one it was.
Pull all the enemies was really
And-
good.
Yeah, I never used it. And what was the other one? I forget what the other one was. It was something related to either like the throwing the lightsaber or the double lightsaber.
Yeah.
But like I got the one that powered up all the attacks.
You got the best
that-
one, which is the Stim Force one.
the Stim Force one, which is like easily the most broken talent.
You have to
I got all the
upgrade your
life
Force
ones.
no matter what you do. Every Force upgrade you need.
You don't though. Early on in the game, I was barely using it. Like I was just breezing by parrying everything.
It just
and
runs
chopping
out
them to
so
bits.
fast.
Yeah, but you don't need any force when you're just parrying everything.
That's
I didn't
true.
use any of the force attacks
there's
for
a-
most of the game.
There's a skill that you recharge Force with parry. So
That's true. Maybe I had that and I didn't realize. I don't know. But like I was never like I wasn't pulling guys. I wasn't pushing them off cliffs. I was like barely doing any of that. I was just running up and fighting them.
interesting. So I took a more Force centric approach to the game, which was like I was always using push, pull, slow, etc.
I used slow a decent amount. Certainly it's helpful because especially when they before you get the double bladed lightsaber, it's very helpful to have slow so that you can like deal with this dude for a sec and then go murder this guy really quick and then turn around and come back and murder this dude.
Yeah, especially when you have
That was-
double Inquisitor fights or
yeah.
the what was it, the prison?
Yeah, the like the bounty hunter
Yeah.
people that would show up every now and then.
Oh yeah, do you have any issues with the bounty hunters ever?
They definitely killed me, but then they're gone when you come back, and so it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
that was frustrating. I definitely killed most of the ones I fought though. it was always like oh shit, there's those guys. Okay, I gotta slow down, back up, hold on, like because I'm just like running through the zones half the time, you know.
Yeah, there was
And,
definitely
like,
multiple zones, like on Dathomir, like when you're running to do the final boss area of Dathomir,
yeah,
where they would be like hiding in a corner, and I'd like jump a ledge and be like, I landed, cool. Oh, there's a bot bounty. Oh god, oh god.
yeah, for sure. There were definitely parts of that. Dathomir specifically, where I like was like rounding a corner. It's like, oh, these guys. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Like I
let's
can't
use
do
this
that.
stim now.
I can't fight him there because there's a whole bunch of those zombie chicks up ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but overall, like I had a really good time. I like I said, it is fun to do the Star Wars stuff in that game for sure.
Yes.
The puzzle solving isn't particularly hard. There definitely
No.
were a few times where I was like, how do I do this? I am stuck. What am I doing? What is my brain not comprehending? And it's like, oh, you have to do this other thing first and then the thing second, and then it works out, right? It's
Yeah.
just like multiple puzzles where I was like, oh, I'm just like my brain forgot that I had the slow ability, or like it's just like, oh, pull actually does work on that even though you don't think it does, or something like that.
Yep. Or like I have to throw this over there and then freeze it midair and then pull it from the other side. Otherwise, it lands in the water.
Yeah, there was weird stuff like that for sure all over.
Yeah.
But yeah, great time. Fun game.
What did you think of the? So the main connection from that game to the universe, there's two main connections. I don't want to spoil one of them, maybe, if we don't want to get there. But the other one is the trip through the Venator starship and the history of Order 66.
So I definitely did do that, go through the starship. I was like trying to figure out what the purpose of it was, because I had basically finished all the stuff I would do on that planet before I went through that starship.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what's the point of this thing? There must be like some sweet stuff in here. And it's like, no, this is all just kind of like lore stuff and a bunch of the like force upgrades and chests and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool, like certainly cool to be like, oh yeah, like this is like clearly this down starship, and you're learning a story of like this pet Jedi and his Padawan, and like, all right, that was cool. Is it clearly like a allusion to something that I'm not understanding?
No, it's just the direct connection to the Clone Wars, and so like it was interesting to play a game like that where they stop the whole game basically, and they're like, you have to go do this ship. And the point of doing the ship is to be like, this is what happened during the Clone Wars, and this is what it was like for this specific character to go through this event that is, not.
I feel like
you
the
don't
ship
even
is
need
completely optional. I don't think you have to go in there at all.
I think you do.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Anyway,
I
it was
thought
cool.
you had
Like
to do it.
there are parts of that area that you have to do, but I don't think you have to actually go into the ship.
Oh, okay.
But it was still cool. Like I said, I enjoyed it. Definitely you get the part where, you see the hologram of the clone commander,
Yeah.
Telling the other clones like, all right, the order has come in or whatever, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting. Like definitely that's the most like, oh, okay, I know what this is referencing stuff that was going on.
Yeah. Do we spoil the ending?
I feel like we talked about it last time.
I think
when
maybe
we talked
we did.
about this game.
I don't know, Michael.
Yeah, I feel like you guys
I
did.
think we did. We talked
I
about
don't know
who
if
shows.
it's really spoiling it. Yeah.
We talked about who shows up at the end of that. I could not get the first part of that to trigger. I think I told you last time, was like I couldn't figure out what to do, so I died like 4 times before the thing started. But I wanted to see if it went smoothly for you instead.
Yeah, I didn't have too much trouble with it. Like once Darth Vader showed up, it reminded me, like, oh yeah, he shows up in this game.
Yeah.
It's like I totally had not remembered that was a thing. But like I said, you hear they do a good job with the reveal. It's just like, you're fighting this Night Sister, and then she's like kind of beaten, and then she just like kind of like her eyes start bulging out, and she's like, and then like you hear the breathing, and you're like, oh snap,
Oh, no.
something's going on. And then they show him, and it turns into a chase sequence eventually. And at that point I knew that I was, they make a point of like, hey, he's like, give me the MacGuffin or else, you will be destroyed. And it is like, okay. So it's like I walk up to him, it's like, I don't want to be destroyed. Here you go, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Obviously is not what I was supposed to do. And it's like, okay, the game wants me to run away. And so I turn around and, I booked it down the hallway. It was not, it was clear to me. Like I was able to visually read what it wanted me to do in that hallway. And I ran there.
I like that if you turn around at all in the game, like if you turn the camera to look at Vader, you die. He instantly force chokes you and you die. You have to run from him or you will be dead after you start running down the hallway.
That's good.
Yeah. Pretty good overall. Probably not maybe as Dark Soulsy as you were looking for, but
yeah, no, it was much easier than a Dark Souls game. I will say the stuff about two things, right? One of the things that makes those Dark Souls games difficult is like you don't know what you're doing. And in this, they kind of take that away from you. Or, like you don't know what you're doing with your character, right? Because you don't know what weapons and armors and spells and sorts of things you're going to find in those games. And in this, I'm going to find lightsaber stuff. So there's no worry about like, am I building my character wrong, right? Sure. I'm pretty sure there is no way to build your character wrong in this game.
I think that's like, a choice.
Even if you go all into the life stuff and no points in the lightsaber stuff or the force stuff, I think it's probably fine. You just have a huge health pool and you just like, tank through the hits with enough stims and you're good.
Yeah.
So, this game streamlines a lot of the stuff that makes those other games difficult, which is fine. I had a very enjoyable time. Like I said, none of the like random enemies were too difficult. And if they got annoying, you can always employ the number one most important Dark Souls tactic, and that is just run past them. You are much
very
faster.
Important strat.
Dude, it is. You are much faster than every enemy in that game, except for like some bosses, and then only sometimes. You can generally run past every non-boss enemy in those games. And it's equally true here as those other ones as well. Just run
I think
past.
the only time I had problem was the Knight Brothers with the arrows, with the like laser arrows could peg you from like a room away.
Yeah. If it gets that bad, just be tapping on the parry button as you're running and you'll eventually parry it back to them. Or get the talent that just like when you're sprinting,
auto parry. Yeah.
Everything.
If you sprint, and auto parry was a godsend because then you could do a lot of platforming without having to kill everybody first.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like it, all the guys that with laser bullets. I just like parried them back. Like the first thing I stepped into an arena and I saw that there are like stormtroopers or the laser bolt guys.
Yeah,
I would just stand at the door, wait for them to shoot, and go bink bink. Bink, bink, bink.
Yep.
And then they just like boom, boom, boom. That guy's dead. Boom, boom. That guy. Boom, boom. That guy.
That's why.
All right, now we can play the game.
There's some really enjoyable moments of having gotten the upgraded push and pull powers of like, I see. So if I jump down to that platform and then do push all, I kill 12 guys at once without having to do anything. Yes, I can swing from here to jump to there.
Yeah,
and so like
I should have tried experimenting with that stuff more. I just never felt the need.
It just made it more cinematic, I think, and like if you were looking for Star Wars immersion, you got it from those types of moments of like, I am becoming a very powerful Jedi. Oh wait, no, I'm not, because Darth Vader kills me if I turn the camera around.
Right. There definitely was like, every now and then you do a cool move where you're like pull this guy towards you and you stick the lightsaber right through him as he flies into you or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, this is cool. Or like you do the like parry a guy and like roll over him and pull your lightsaber up through his torso or whatever. Like that stuff is always cool. But yeah, fun game. Really enjoyed it.
Really unflappable main character.
Yeah. He just takes everything like, NBD. Just all right, man. Yeah, this is bad, but all right, cool. Oh yeah, Darth Vader. All right, I guess I'll jog over here and like, I'm running, but it's not like he didn't have an extra gear there. He was just like, all right, I'm running. Yeah, it's Darth Vader. Yeah, he's destroying the walkway behind me. Yep, definitely better be running. It's like, okay, man. I feel like some more urgency here.
If Star Wars has taught me anything, though, it's that Darth Vader does not run.
I think you could.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You could wall jump or you could wall run through that level if you wanted to. It looked cooler. I don't think you go any faster while running, but it looks cooler because his hair flies in the wind.
It is important to look cool.
I know, right? I mean,
that game places emphasis on making sure the colors and stuff you have are cool looking.
I think the most important question that everyone that played Fallen Order needs to hear your answer to, though, is poncho, no poncho.
Yeah, I used a poncho almost all the time.
You and I are different, my man.
The colors are cooler with the poncho. There's cooler colors with the poncho than not.
I couldn't get over sometimes like the poncho clipping through things. And I was just like, this is annoying. I'm turning the poncho off.
It's a video game, bro. Not a problem. Also, if you get annoyed by that, please never play Dark Souls games where like your hair clips through the helmets and your weapons clip through the walls, and it's a clipping game, man. It's just stuff clips.
All clips all the time.
Yeah, it's all right. I had no issue. It was fun to see it flap around in the wind. That was cool.
Yeah.
And then lightsaber colors. I used orange for a large part of it.
That's good. And then everyone should use orange to force Disney to recognize that it is a canon color.
Yeah, I liked orange, and then I eventually switched to purple later.
Okay. Did you enjoy the customization, or just sort of get over it eventually and leave it alone?
Yes, if I got new stuff, I would look at it and be like, okay, this looks like a thing. And then be like, I liked the other one I had, and switch back most of the time.
Yeah. I think if I played through it again, I would definitely not chase a ton of those parts.
Yeah. They're not in the... It's hard to know when you're looking for stuff in that game if the thing you're going to find is a upgrade for your health or force or a stim.
Yep.
Or if it's just treasure chests over here.
Yep.
And the treasure chests I would ignore 100% of the time out of 100.
If you knew ahead of time.
If I knew, but I never did know. And so that it's like, well, it's a little bit of experience. I'm not mad about this.
It does feel good.
Just a treasure chest. And I was like, dang it.
It feels really good when you find a stim. You're like, oh, yes. I'm up to 4.
Yeah. How many did you get? How many did you have at the end?
I think I got all 7 or 8. I think it was.
I had 9 at the end.
Okay,
I don't know if there are 10. I feel like there must be 10, but I never found whatever the 10th one was.
I had the max number because I got an achievement for max stims. And there is a skill to add more stims, I think, isn't there?
There's definitely skills to make the stims heal you more.
Definitely. 10. There's 10 stims max. So I had 10.
So I must have missed one at some point.
Because I know I got the achievement for you have all the stims.
Definitely, except for the bosses, I didn't need them.
No.
It was like, okay, you'd use a few getting to the place, and there's always a save point right before the boss.
Yep.
And so there was never a problem.
Yep. Yeah.
Medical
Droid. Medical Droid was the name of the achievement. All of BD1's stim canister. I love BD1.
Very cute.
Yeah. If you want to hear a lot of our love of BD1, there's a Carbon Scoring all about Fallen Order. And Ken and I wax nostalgic about BD1.
It's a good droid.
Speaking of platforming, I have not played a ton of Celeste this weekend. I was solo parenting, so I didn't get a lot of time about it. But Michael, you kept texting about Celeste, which made me very jealous.
Yeah, I wasn't playing either, though.
Oh.
The good people over at Games Done Quick are back with one of their interstitial marathons. For the week this week, they have Flame Fatales running on their channel. It is all female runners, and I think commentators as well, though I'm not 100% positive on that last one. They're running, raising money for the Malala Fund. So yeah, go check it out. But I caught what was her name? A runner named Fell, doing a set of Celeste custom maps called Quickie Mountain 2. And they were all Super Mario World themed. So they had green pipes for a bunch of the screen transitions and a bunch of other just like background and graphical references to Super Mario. But it was also super hard Celeste custom maps.
That's cool.
So if you've got, 25 minutes, definitely go check that out.
I'm like 85% sure there is a Mario Kaizo hack called Quickie World. I wonder if there's a relationship there.
I bet that's the inspiration for it.
Yeah, very cool. I put that on my I need to watch this VOD later list because that sounds rad.
Yeah, and then the run after it was it made me laugh because of the category name. It was a regular Celeste run, but it was Benny%, BNY%.
Oh, because it was all B-sides?
Yep.
I
It's a
see.
good name.
That's a good joke.
Clever. Yeah.
Yes.
But again, just broken Celeste playing.
I'm trying to convince myself now that will have time again this week that I should stop wasting my time when I walk into one of the rooms that is clearly just a strawberry room.
Yeah, just turn around and be like, I don't need this. Done. Room clear.
Because I'll look at that room and I'll be like, I see how to do this. And then I'll spend 20 minutes doing it.
Seeing is not the problem.
Right. Seeing is not the problem.
And sometimes it's not so bad, but then sometimes it is so bad. And you're like, all right, what it wants me to do here is the sequence of like really tight jumps and then like a trust fall onto a thing. And I better hit that what do you call it? The little diamond at the bottom or whatever that refills your jump to save you at the end here.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like,
crystals or whatever.
Nah.
Yeah. The worst is when
I'm good with this room.
The worst is when all of it is easy except that one jump in the middle of the sequence.
Yeah. The worst ones are where it's like there's a tough jump at the beginning and then one other tough jump like way later. Because you don't ever get to practice that second tough jump. You died the first one 10 times.
Yep.
I think that's the most annoying is when the thing at the end is like tightly timed. So you spend, 15 minutes learning the pattern to the route, and then the last jump is like, well, I can't figure out the timing till I get to the last jump because the last jump timing is always different.
But I can't get there moving enough.
But I can't stall and like pace it or like figure it out, so I have to like keep jumping through there to the thing. Yeah, it's like, man.
All the other stuff is practice, man. You just have to keep practicing. That's just, yeah. It's tough. The game is tough. And there's no sugarcoating it. It is difficult.
Yeah. That's good to know. I mean, I've heard it before, but it's good to keep hearing it.
Yeah. And, I think it is fair to, at some point, decide that, hey, maybe this is above the grade that I'm willing to put in the effort to learn.
I think it's just...
And I want to be clear. I think
wise.
anyone can learn to do these things in these games. It's a question of how much time you want to put in to get there, right? And it's extremely reasonable to say, this is more time than I want to put in.
I think we've all admitted that we are people that play for the extras, right? Like, I tried almost
a lot of times
to do most of the crates in Fallen Order, and then I got to the point that was like, I can't go back now that I've beaten the game and try and find these crates. I just don't have it in me. And so, like, I'm at, World 4. I'm realizing it's taken me a couple weeks now to try and, like, push through because I keep finding rooms with strawberries and spending 20 minutes getting a strawberry, and it's like maybe I need to put those aside to get through the game so we can finish it.
Mm-hmm. And I do think there are good reasons to want to get to the end of this game, in terms of the story payoff and stuff. So
yeah, I won't quit the game. I may quit the strawberries, but yeah. There are some things out there in the world that you can quit, and I'll tell you about one of them right now. Unless you're a deep lover of Pacific Rim, the mech show, movies, which I am a fan of. I don't know if you guys have watched those.
I've seen the first one.
Yeah. There are 2 of those movies.
I think I've seen half the first one.
There is also an anime on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
It is very anime.
Anime is anime.
Which is funny because Pacific Rim grifted all that stuff, from like Macross and all the giant mech and kaiju stuff. Yeah. And now it's headed back and being done for them by Japanese studios. I think it's okay, but you can quit on it. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Just FYI, in case anyone out there is wondering.
Okay.
It came across my thing after watching He-Man on Netflix. You guys?
Yes.
Which
Great
I guess
show.
I said the wrong thing. It is not He-Man. It is Masters of the Universe.
Revelations.
Revelation. One revelation.
Oh, there was only one, I guess.
There's-
I mean, there were not that many episodes to have multiple revelations.
There
in
are
it, so I guess
two-
that makes sense.
There is another one called Masters of the Universe Revelations, which is an after show that is about an hour long, which encompasses Kevin Smith talking to all the actors for a little bit of time.
Huh. Okay.
So that is on Netflix in case you care about little things like oh man, now I'm gonna forget his name, and we just talked about it on Carbon Scoring. The guy who plays Moss Man in this version of the show is Alan Oppenheimer, who played the original Skeletor.
Oh, that's cool.
So that
That is cool.
there's little stuff like that in that after show that you learn, or like Lieutenant Adra was from a comic book, and originally she was like a redhead, and they changed it for this show. Or there's like if you really loved Masters of the Universe Revelation, you know, you could spend worse time than going and watching that little after show thing.
The thing that I did instead of watching that after show was I watched about 75% of the documentary called The Power of Grayskull.
Oh, how was that?
Good. It is the history of the Masters of the Universe toy line. It started as the toy line,
Oh,
and then how they decided to make the cartoon to promote the toys, and then how it got popular and spun out, and they made She-Ra and the stuff that kind of followed out of like the production of those shows and all that stuff.
oh, okay.
Cool.
That's
Yeah,
on
it's
Netflix too,
interesting.
huh?
And it is on Netflix. It is also like talking to the like executives from Mattel at the time when they were coming up with the ideas, and the people that aren't in it who I think I wish they had more of was like some of like the voice actors and stuff. There weren't a ton of those, but they weren't really telling the story of just the cartoon. They were kind of telling the story of the Masters of the Universe line and how it came to be and like its impact and stuff.
Okay.
And they did get some of the like animators and stuff from that studio, which was interesting. But I think like some of the, I guess some of those like original voice actors are just like, they don't do public appearances anymore, or if they're still with us, like some of them are very old.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's a
That was
good
interesting.
suggestion too. You know what's another good suggestion? Watch Masters of the Universe Revelation.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
you could just do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know.
Do we want to spoiler alert here? Are we going to go that deep?
Let's just
Yeah.
do it in advance. It's not very long. It was what?
there's only 5 episodes.
5 episodes of part 1. This is not the end of Revelation.
Yes.
It better not be.
Yeah.
And you do not, if you know who He-Man is, and Tila, and Orko, and Man-at-Arms, and Skeletor, and Evil Lyn, if you know the names I just said, and you kind of remember the pictures of Masters of the Universe or played with a toy, you could just watch this and not go back to the 130 episodes
Yeah.
or read
was
any of
just
the
going-
comics or any of that stuff.
I was just going to say I didn't do any of that, and I felt like I was completely fine. I had to look up after the first episode that I watched who Tila was. And I was
Okay.
like, oh, okay, I guess I remember this person vaguely. Whatever. And then was fine with it after that. Didn't need anything else. It was whatever. These people were people from the show. Got it. Okay, who cares?
Sure.
It does a good job of telling you the story that it wants to tell, in the setting. And the setting changes because, due to events of the show, right? So,
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
think what it does is, I think I've said this before about some other stuff, is it reminds you that you have nostalgia for this thing without making you go deep and remember stuff that may have for the hardcore fans that have read all the comics, it may have the information in there that's like, oh, I remember from the 1994 comic series 6-issue run that this thing they mentioned about the crystal and Moss Man, you know, like, okay, they made that connection for those people. But not one time did the thing happen where you were watching The Mandalorian and you're like, who is this lady and why is she talking about this thing? I feel like I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like I never once felt like I remembered because they did a good job, but also I remembered that Orko was kind of a joke, right? And they make it very clear that Orko's kind of a joke. And you didn't
Orko
have to
lets you
watch.
know.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't have to remember if you didn't remember. But it's a great show in that respect, I think, of like, hey, we love this thing. You love this thing in your memory. Enjoy watching it remade for another, you know, decade. For a new decade. Which, you know, apparently pissed off some people. I'm not up.
I don't want to judge.
People are going to be mad.
I'm not up on much internet anymore. This is the most
it's tough
internet
for
we
me
do.
to judge. It's tough for me to judge this thing because it's like half a thing. It's not done. They clearly made more. I want to see the like resolution to the stuff here. Like tell the whole story.
Who
We got
has
half
the
story.
power?
Yeah, no one has the power right now. I want to know. I don't have it.
Spoilers again. Skeletor has the power, you guys.
Does he say I have the power at the end?
Yeah, he did.
Does,
yeah.
actually.
Oh, he did.
He did.
Okay, dang.
He is now, by the way,
he calls himself the master of the universe.
he is
at the end, right?
Skelegod now.
Where did you get that name from?
I'm going to turn on my camera real quick and I'll show you. Turn on camera. He is Skelegod. You see it right there?
That is quite the item.
I'm sure this plays really well on this audio podcast.
Yeah.
As Andy holds up his Skelegod action figure Minton box.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for the narration there, Michael.
Thank you, Michael, for the narration.
But yes, I think I mean, you know, like you say, I want to see where they go with it because obviously the bad guy doesn't win. That's not the story here.
Yeah. Well, I assume it's not the story. I mean, we can't know for sure. It is not He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Possible.
It is Masters of the Universe. There's, you know, they spent a significant amount of time developing Evil Lynn's story. It's not like she's just going to go away. They spent a significant amount of time developing Triclops into like the leader of the tech cult. That's not going to go away. A lot of this has, you're right, been built into something that you're like, well, where's the rest of it?
Yeah, the character and world building was surprisingly deep.
I was gonna say the character and world building was the stuff that kept me watching because, like, I didn't care who like these people were because it's like it was a dumb cartoon from the 70s, like early 80s. You know, it's not it was before my time, really. I didn't watch that cartoon growing up, except for maybe like an episode here or there when it randomly showed up in a rerun. And I didn't really have those toys growing up either.
Oh, you didn't?
Except for maybe subsequent lines or something, like not the original
I
toys.
definitely had not an original. There's multiple generations of those toys. I definitely
and so
had
like maybe
of some kind.
Yeah, maybe I got into some of them for some period of time, but I don't remember it.
Sure.
But I remember enough about that thing being a thing.
Yeah.
That, you know, I knew who He-Man was. I'd seen this idea. I knew about having the power. I knew about Grayskull, you know. And yeah, but like the stuff that I thought was great was like, oh, they're explaining like this is what Grayskull really was, and oh, this is what the land of Eternia thrives on all this magic, and the magic's running out, and this is what's happening to the people, and this is what's happening to the Orko, who's a magical being, and all. It's like, oh, okay, like this is storytelling.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, I imagine, and someone could write us at podcast@wewergamers.com. But from my discussion with Kit and Ken about He-Man, it sounded like a lot of this stuff is new. It's not like the revelation about, which I assume is why it's called Revelation, about Castle Grayskull actually being not, it's being the library of whatever, is new, and the way that the magic works is new. It's all made for this, right? And saying like, this is a story that needs an ending, maybe, right?
Yeah. Although I'm gonna. It's funny, Andy, because I would have disagreed on what the revelation was.
Oh,
Given what drives so much of the plot, I would have said that the revelation of Adam as He-Man to Tila
oh, okay,
is maybe a more significant revelation than the true nature of Grayskull.
definitely, yeah.
It works on multiple levels.
Yeah.
It does. It's
Storytelling.
deep.
Yeah, revelation. There's a lot of revelation. There's the revelation that the dead champions can come back, but if they do,
Yes.
they're gone forever. That there is like a underworld and an overworld and a heaven.
I was gonna say, so this was something I was
Preternia?
curious about. Yeah, it was Preternia
Subternia.
and
Subternia.
Subternia. Yeah. Was that so? This was stuff I didn't know if that was stuff from the original. I never knew any of that stuff. I also didn't know if
I'm pretty sure
the
Preternia
Hall
had.
of Justice or whatever, Hall of Wisdom,
Yeah,
was a thing from the original as well.
I
didn't know any of that.
I think Preternia and Subternia had been mentioned before, especially probably in the comics. I wish I had asked this exact question, because I remember some of it, but I don't remember all of it when it comes to Masters of the Universe, right? And I'm pretty sure those two had been mentioned before, because it's not a super crazy thing. And I'm pretty sure that Subternia had been around, because I think that what was the guy's name? Scareglow that was down there was a figure that had existed before.
Mm,
What a great name.
Scareglow?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he's really good. I love his action figure. I haven't gotten it yet, but his action figure looks great. Yeah, I would love to know. Somebody enlighten us, because I don't remember all of it, but I think a lot of it was like referential and not exactly told this way, where it's like, this is exactly what it is, Yeah, I think really, like, Kevin Smith gets a lot of flack recently for some of his more modern films being different than what people want, I guess. And this got flack for being different than what people want, but like, it really shows how good nostalgia stuff can be if it wants to be.
Yeah, it is, and it's really hard to do something like that with as deft of a touch as he showed here.
I really would
Yeah.
love to know if I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in the room where they pitched him on doing it, and he's like, I need autonomy to do this. Because, like, Hasbro and Mattel are different companies, and Mattel owning this is able to say, yes, just go for it, or no, absolutely not, you can't do that with your toys. And maybe JJ, in that documentary, you saw like Mattel saying yes or no what can happen with the toys and characters and all that sort of stuff.
Well, so certainly they had approval over stuff in the original stuff. This didn't cover the new stuff, right? Or I didn't watch the end.
No, but I mean the
Maybe
original
it does.
versus now, like stuff that would have never have happened before, of like
Oh,
Adam getting
they
stabbed
had-
in the chest.
They had like
Yeah.
complete control
Yeah.
over the original stuff. It was like, here's the toys we're making, put these in episodes as soon as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were like murdering those artists getting that show out.
Yeah. Oh, so there'll be a carbon scoring this week. We could announce this now, I guess. And if you are interested in hearing some of that type of stuff, Kit is like a fountain of knowledge of how that stuff sort of worked, and how, it was all rotoscoped, and like they drew on top of actors to get that show to work.
They talk about some of it in this, the documentary, but they don't go into too deep of it.
Yeah.
But they definitely talked to some of the old animators and stuff, and they were like, here's how it was. You worked every day.
Yeah.
It was just, you kept working.
That
And you
cartoon
kept working.
came out every single day.
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah. And yeah, so like for He-Man, Kit, I think, or Ken was saying, like they had to get a guy to make sure that his body looked right when it was moving. It was like the first version of like a motion capture, basically. They just sort of drew him.
And even the original dolls, like the original series He-Man was like so different from the action figures of the time.
Oh yeah, they were way
That,
different.
like, they talked about like they had to make these crazy new molds and stuff, and it was all driven by like, okay, what can we manufacture cheaply?
Yep, and reuse and reuse and reuse.
Reuse everything as much as possible, right? So like, oh, why? Like we had this mold for a cat thing. He-Man's gonna ride a cat. Great. Put a saddle on it. Done. Oh shoot, we got to redesign the saddle a little bit so his weird, crazy legs will fit. All right. How can we do this cheap? All right, make him sit really high on the saddle. Done. Like it's just like all this stuff that came out because it's like, oh, we had this unused cat for this other thing. That's why he has a cat. No other reason.
Wow.
It's like, why is there a castle? We could make a castle. Okay.
Yeah.
It like all the stuff was like there was no lore. All that stuff came way later. Like they weren't even thinking about that stuff when they came up with it. And like, to have turned it into like something that I think this is like really rich and feels really thought out and like well planned.
Yeah.
So it's impressive, And of course there's also, 30 years of history to draw on, which helps.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised.
True.
I mean, looking at it now, you'd think they'd have changed some of the characters. But if I'm looking at the toys, like the legs and lower body of Skeletor and He-Man are exactly the same with different paint jobs, just like they would have been in the originals. They have two lines of toys now. One is the Origins line, which looks like the old toys, where they're all like misshapen, weird, like
the bow-legged, huge.
The heads are massive. The arms and legs are like unnaturally bulbous, and the bodies are very small. And like, and then they have the Revelation line, which matches the cartoon almost to a T, and like the bodies are perfectly proportioned. They look right, but the legs of Skeletor and the legs of He-Man are exactly the same.
I think my personal favorite is the old Man-at-Arms because the face on it looks like Burt Reynolds.
I mentioned this on that other one, is I love that the old Man-at-Arms and the new Man-at-Arms, the chest piece is completely different. The old Man-at-Arms, his chest piece, his like chest protector and all that sort of stuff comes up to his eyes.
Like, so that was something I never understood about Man-at-Arms before, because I remember it like coming all the way up over his nose.
Yeah.
And I thought he was like a cyborg dude.
Yeah.
I kind of just thought that was his
Roboto.
thing. Like he was a robot.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know about Roboto.
Yeah.
It's like I thought that guy was just like half cyborg or whatever, and that's why he was crazy. And like, so good and whatever. But then it's like, no, he just has this weird, crazy suit. He was really tall. Huh. Oh, okay. That was it.
Huh. Yeah. Anyway, and so the new one.
I watched this and learned about Roboto. I was like, oh.
The new one just comes up to his chest like a normal human being.
Right.
But the Origins figure definitely. Anyway, we're off track. We don't need to talk about the toys. I very much enjoyed the ending of this show, part 1 of this show, where like I think they do a great job of turning Battle Cat into a character, first of all, like that you actually care about, Cringer, sorry. Yes. Sorry.
So I definitely remember the cat being a thing that was transformed in the show, right?
Yes. But I don't think he had a spoken line in the original
I was going to say, did the cat speak before? And I didn't know if that was a thing or not.
I don't believe so.
I'm learning stuff all the time.
So Cringer talking to Adam and like becoming a character that changes Teela's mind, and like the story arc with Teela, the story arcs with like great, and like really lulls you into like they're gonna go get Adam back. Adam's made this heroic choice to come back, and then like Skeletor finally tricked everyone for real this time.
Yeah. It's good, it's very good.
Did you either of you like really see it coming?
No, I didn't see it coming at all. I had kind of forgotten about that if the whole equivalence of if Adam is still alive, maybe Skeletor is still alive.
Yeah. I thought that if they were going to do this, it was like, oh, okay, but Evil Lynn is going to betray Skeletor now because she's good now, right? That's how I thought it was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, not what happens.
Realistic, I think, though, when you think about how people
Yeah.
behave and who they are, and when they're put into a tough choice, some stories are that way. It's really smart. It makes. I wonder if it'll turn people off from returning, where they're like, "Oh no, he's dead again, and I'm been betrayed, and I'm not going to come back." Versus people that are like, "All right, can they really do this?" Like what is the end game here? Like for me, I
I
gotta
mean,
know.
there's a character named Skelegod, apparently. I got to know what's up with that now.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was his name. They didn't say that in the show. Why
Skella
didn't they call him Skelegod? I want to know.
God. And he has the He-Man H on his chest for hero. The hero. He's now the hero. Oh, it's so good. It's good. I was very shocked that it was when you guys told me to watch it and Ken was telling me to watch it. Everyone's telling me to watch it. I'm like, it can't be this good. It's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And I think that was a good surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of got me from the very beginning when Skeletor and his forces besiege Castle Grayskull, and he gets to the gate and starts monologuing, and like 3 words in takes a lightning bolt to the face.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mark Hamill does a great job too
Oh yeah,
giving
shoutouts.
a Skeletor. Like the Skeletor work was done initially for him, but like he's the man when it comes to people with weird laughs, and obviously he enjoys playing a villain very much based on his interview of that show. So I can't wait for more. I wonder when it's coming. I didn't look it up, but
I don't know that it has a date.
yeah, be very careful Googling it, by the way. Apparently Kit ran into spoilers of stuff that's happening in part 2 that I did not hear. But he said was sad that he got to know it ahead of time. So, yeah. They've recorded the live orchestra for episode 10. So, they got to be getting close if they're recording music. Right? Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
There's
so many different things that potentially go on with production in
Yeah.
literally every respect.
Yeah.
It literally it could be anything from the pipeline of the artists didn't stopped working to animators stopped working to computers to anything else. Like voice actors, literally anything could be the problem. It's impossible to know.
Well, speaking of pipelines, let's talk about the pipeline for We Were Gamers for the upcoming. We hit the middle of the month, so it's time to do some shout outs. Carbon Scoring's back. We'll get one of those at the end of the week. After you hear this podcast, you'll hear one of Carbon Scoring, and that's about He-Man, a little bit, not a ton. And then we intended to talk about the Bad Batch, because it's Carbon Scoring and it's about Star Wars. And I inadvertently brought up, we were talking about What If. I don't know if you guys watched the first episode of What If yet, but
yeah, I enjoyed that.
I have not yet.
Okay. Well, the 3 of us on there were in love with the first episode. It's beautiful. It looks like a Fleischman cartoon, like the Superman cartoons. JJ.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to watch it. I just haven't yet.
I would. You don't need to rush. There's obviously no spoilers because it's all tangential stuff. It's a beautiful moments episode, I think, and we got talking about that, which led to us talking about Marvel and the state of Marvel and the universe and where we were at, and that took over the entire episode. With talking about where the Marvel universe is headed, and we also talked about Transformers on there too. So that'll be the end of the week, because if you talk about He-Man, you got to talk about Transformers.
I don't know how that connects, but okay. As I say, the Marvel stuff sounds interesting, so I will tune in.
Toy created cartoons in the 80s.
Not interested in the discussion of Star Wars, but I am interested in discussion of Marvel. So now I have a reason to watch.
Well, you'll wait because Star Wars is next time. Anyway, we got to get back to Bad Batch later. Anyway, and then also, since it's the middle of the month, Star Trek, JJ, Subspace Transmission, probably next week, right?
We're recording it next week.
No, we're recording
Or
it this week, but
sorry.
it'll be released
And
next
then it'll
week.
come out next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So I schedules. But yeah, we are watching the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, the first one. So get ready for that.
The quote unquote reboot, which will be a center piece of
We're going to have a discussion.
my critical theory of what it means to reboot something.
We will have a discussion.
Subspace Transmissions, the lens flare episode.
Oh God.
I literally wrote that down in one of my notes. Yeah. Also, Andrew, the Lower Decks has started again.
Yeah, man. Jack Quaid, who
Worth
I've been
pointing out.
watching. I've been watching The Boys on the Amazon Prime. Dennis Quaid's son, by the way. He plays Boimler on that show, and so I am very excited to start watching Lower Decks. My beautiful, significant other half loves that show as well, so we watch that one together.
Yeah. Well, it'll take us a while to get around to talking about it on a Subspace Transmission.
Yes.
But we will eventually because it is great.
Yeah, we'll build up a few episodes to talk. They're not very long, and they're not meaty.
Yeah, they're
usually.
like 20 minutes or whatever. So.
Most of them are just like, that was funny, and then you get to ones like last season, which was the simulation one, the movie one, and you're like,
right?
Oh
yeah,
God, we got to
was
talk
just
about this.
So much stuff. Yeah. So that's definitely coming up also. And do we want to talk about the other thing?
Yes, go for it.
It's time to get back in the robot, everybody.
Yeah.
Can't believe we're gonna do this again, but we're gonna do it.
Get back in the robot, Shinji. Get back in the robot. All right.
Go.
So Amazon Prime has released the 4 rebuild of Evangelion movies. So it's 1.11 you cannot advance, 2.22 I don't remember, 3.33 something else.
It's funny because you could actually be the title.
And 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time, which is the latest one.
Yes. Is it the final one?
These movies, it is
Yes.
my understanding.
Okay. And so
I have
Amazon
not seen
got
any
all
of
of these, right?
Yes. Yes. The 3 before this one have been out for a pretty long time. I want to say these rebuild of Evangelion movies started coming out in like 2007.
That's a good question. I can look it up while you're talking
And-
about it.
And the second one was like some years later, and the 3.33 one came out in like 2012. And then there was a 10-year break, or 9 years, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So wild that they finally wrapped this thing
Do you
up.
want the Japan dates?
I mean, whatever.
2007,
Whatever you-
2009, 2012, 2021.
Yeah, so I was pretty close.
Holy cow. Are you ready?
Probably not.
100 minutes, 112 minutes, 96 minutes, 155 minutes are the run times.
Yeah.
What are we
Okay.
doing?
I mean, these are movies. These are movies.
I know,
right?
but
they were released theatrically in Japan as movies. They are individual movies.
Oh my
and we are
God.
going to watch all 4 of them eventually.
why are we doing this to ourselves?
Should we have looked at those times?
No,
before
I'm
we-
1,000% glad we committed to it before looking at this.
I am 100% sure by the time we get to that 4th one, you will probably want to watch it.
I want to watch them. I just like when I got to the end of the first series, I'm just like, oh my God, what are we in for? Like, you know?
And to be clear, I think it will be fair to say up front, some of this stuff is retread.
I'm sure it
Because
has
is
to
a
be.
retelling. It is a retelling of the story. So there will be stuff that is just straight up, these story beats. You're pretty sure you know what's going to happen here. I suspect deeply, based on box arts, stuff changes. But certainly, and very likely the first movie is going to be, mostly retread. So
It must have a different ending.
he took 9 years off or something. So God knows.
Yeah.
We'll find out eventually.
Yeah, we will get there.
Oh boy.
So stay tuned in the long term.
Yep. There you go. All right. In the meantime, podcast at wewergamers.com. Twitter, everywhere, except for TikTok. We're not going to do TikTok. I don't care.
We'd have to like post stuff on our other social media
Yeah,
first
yeah,
before
yeah.
we
But
bother dealing with TikTok,
look,
and we're just not. Yeah, sorry. We're
social
too boomer for
media
TikTok.
is for reminding people to do something that they enjoy, right? That's what it is for us. And so, like, if you enjoy staring at social media, good for you. But we're here to enjoy the podcast part. And we come across weird things. Like, I posted a picture on Instagram of that Loftwing amiibo. That's the type of stuff that you want to know, right? Like, look at this thing. It's pretty.
It was pretty. I can verify.
Yeah. And look out for those other podcasts if you're interested in those things. If you're not, we'll be back next week. Oh boy. I don't think we will have started Evangelion by then.
No.
Too much to do.
We will be back next week, though, just not with that.
There you go.
Good show, guys.
Good stuff as always. Yeah, I'm excited to watch these movies, but I'm gonna restrain myself and wait.
Yeah.
We're gonna do them.
Do it as a team.
Do it as a team because it's important to have the team reactions. So
Yes. I'm gonna really try and push through Celeste this week as well. I think I have to leave the strawberries, but that's a discussion for next week.
Yeah.
we will.
part of one of the crazy Celeste levels, Andy, was the monsters that chase you combined with the monsters that chase you combined with the hotel guy chasing you.
No. That'd be too hard for me. I can't do that. There's no way.
Yeah. But you should just watch the VOD of this because it's super impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kind of thing where she's done it enough times that she makes it look easy.
Uh-huh.
But having played it, especially just how difficult it is.
Oh, okay.